Well, hi there folks, I'm Tim Russell from LJ Hooker with this month's Market Wrap, and certainly the big news over the last few weeks has been the election. It has now passed, and hopefully that will mean business as usual. Of course, every time there is an election here in the ACT, people do worry about what might happen should there be a change of government, and especially this time around we saw fears around negative gearing being removed out of the landscape when it comes to real estate investment, and people did have some concern around that. Now that the Liberal government has retained power there, it is business as usual, and we should see that help bolster confidence back into the market. We certainly saw that bolster confidence back into the stock market as soon as the election was over and the Liberals were back into power. You know, regardless of which government, there are always challenges moving forward as to what can be good and bad for the property market or the stock market. But the stock market certainly showed great confidence immediately after the election, and we're hoping that will follow through into the property market as well. We do know as we come towards the end of the financial year that is another barrier that some people see when they're looking to purchase property or to sell. They worry about what that might mean. There are some pros and cons to selling before the end of the financial year, and after the end of the financial year we certainly have seen numbers of properties available for sale in the ACT drop dramatically. The oversupply problem keeping prices down is not the case right now, so it is an interesting market where we see not a great oversupply of stock. Prices are not necessarily going through the roof, and buyers out in the marketplace are less than what we would have seen just 12 months ago. And that is probably a function of the Royal Commission as well, where the banks have limited lending to people, or making the criteria to borrow money much harder than it has been, well, forever. So that is certainly making things difficult out there in the property market, but there's an upside to that, of course, and that is it means that it is a great time to buy. So if you have finance approved and you are in a position to purchase a home, well, this is absolutely the time to do it, and my belief is this will be a small window of opportunity. Some people say we're at the end of one cycle. I like to say, well, that just means we're at the beginning of the next one. So property prices, although they have taken a little bit of a hit, not significant really here in the ACT, they've remained fairly steady, but we will see them rise again before you know it. And although we don't have an actual timeline on that, when that might happen, nobody's got that crystal ball, it will happen without question. So if you're looking to buy, get in now. The other thing that's worth noting too is that there is going to be a change to the first homeowners grant. As we see it right now, up until the 30th of June, that is a $7,000 first homeowners grant for home buyers, and that is only available on brand new stock or off the plan purchases. At the end of this financial year, that is going. So first homeowners will no longer get that first homeowners grant. However, in place of that will be a stamp duty concession, so no stamp duty on purchases of property, not just on brand new stock, but on any stock across the marketplace. So there is 1st of July that comes in. There's plenty of first homeowners out there, first home buyers that may well be waiting for that as well, which could be a function of the slower market right now too. But if you want to get on that bus and make the most of the mystique that surrounds that when that comes into play, now's the time to do that. So we may see a bolstering of the marketplace there as far as activity as soon as we hit the end of the financial year, and of course perhaps coupled with interest rates coming down potentially. There's a big talk about that at the beginning of May. We didn't see that eventuate, but it was all over the news that this could be the time, and it may have been the election that stopped the Reserve Bank from doing that, because they have to make sure they're impartial to any political influence. So they may have held off for that reason, but there is every chance, and there's plenty of talk around them doing that in this next month, the first Tuesday every month they meet, and we will see what they do there. So there's plenty to talk about and lots of things going on in the market for you to be aware of. I think that just about wraps us up for now though for this month. Folks, I'm Tim Russell from LJ Hooker, and I will see you around the traps.